The Soviet factory time card was small. Cardboard. Faded ink. A narrow slot at the factory entrance. Every morning, workers slid it into a metal machine. The machine stamped the exact minute. 8 o'clock. 8:01. 8:02. Late arrivals were recorded. Absences were recorded. Patterns were recorded. Millions of people stood in line, every weekday, to hear that stamp. If so many of them knew the system was inefficient, if so many criticized shortages, quotas, and bureaucracy, why did they keep showing up? Why did almost no one refuse? In theory, rebellion begins with refusal. In practice, it begins with not arriving. And almost everyone arrived. In the Soviet Union, work was not optional. Officially, unemployment did not exist. Everyone was assigned somewhere. Factories, research institutes, construction brigades, state farms. The time card was not just attendance. It was proof of belonging. Your salary depended on it. Your housing was usually tied to your workplace. Your children's school access often depended on your employment record. Medical care was linked to your registered position. The factory was not just where you worked. It was where you were administratively anchored. Missing work was not symbolic resistance. It was administrative risk. Rebellion sounds dramatic. But inside a planned economy, it begins with paperwork. An absence. A note. A supervisor's report. And the consequences arrived long before any political charge appeared. Authoritarian stability does not require universal loyalty. It requires asymmetric risk. If one worker refused to clock in, production would not collapse. The 5-year plan would not halt. The state would not tremble. But that worker would be noticed. Supervisors tracked irregularities. Party officials reviewed reliability. Chronic absenteeism could trigger investigation. Investigation could lead to reassignment. Reassignment could mean worse conditions. Worse housing allocation. Stagnation in promotion lists. In some cases, accusations like parasitism. The first person to resist absorbs the full weight. The second person watches and calculates. Most people are not ideological actors. They are risk managers. And the risk-reward ratio was visible. One absence changes nothing. One absence changes everything for the person absent. Inside workshops, criticism was common. Workers mocked unrealistic quotas. They joked about machinery that barely functioned. They compared numbers everyone knew were inflated. Cynicism was widespread. But cynicism is not coordination. To rebel collectively, workers must believe others are ready to act. The time card system reinforced isolation. Each worker stamped individually. Each attendance record was individual. Each disciplinary action was individual. The factory floor was collective in space, but individual in accountability. You could complain beside someone. You could not measure how far they were willing to go. Informants existed, not everywhere, but enough. Uncertainty was constant. Not knowing is stabilizing. If you suspect someone might report you, you hesitate. If you suspect others might not follow you, you hesitate more. The daily stamp became a ritual of quiet participation. Every morning it said, "You are still inside." The system did not rely only on fear. It relied on gradation. Factories had hierarchies. Brigadiers, section chiefs, administrative posts, party representatives. Advancement did not require enthusiasm. It required reliability, attendance, punctuality, absence of political trouble. A good record could mean a slightly larger apartment, access to restricted goods through workplace distribution, occasional travel permits within the block, priority in waiting lists. None of these rewards were dramatic, but they were measurable. And measurable improvement inside the structure is powerful. If rebellion risks everything, and compliance offers incremental gains, most people choose incremental gains. The time card did not just record obedience. It accumulated reputation. Each stamp was a small signal. Still reliable. Still aligned. Still safe. The system rewarded continuity more than passion. Continuity is stabilizing. There is a difference between belief and behavior. Many Soviet workers did not believe official rhetoric. But belief is not required for stability. Routine is. The time card machine did not demand conviction. It demanded presence. And presence reproduces structure. When millions reproduce routine simultaneously, the system persists. Production statistics may have been adjusted. Output figures may have been inflated. But attendance was real. Every stamped card meant another day without disruption. Rebellion requires synchronized interruption. The time card ensured synchronization in the opposite direction. At 8 o'clock, everyone moved inward, not outward. For decades, dissatisfaction accumulated. But it accumulated inside routine. Only when larger systemic cracks became visible. Economic strain. Policy shifts. Information flows beyond control. Did risk calculations begin to change? When enough people sensed others might stop arriving. Some did. But until that threshold, the machine kept stamping. The Soviet system did not survive because everyone believed in it. It survived because most people arrived on time. Cardboard. Metal slot. Mechanical stamp. 8 o'clock. One worker does not stop a system. Two workers do not stop a system. But millions of daily arrivals keep it running. The question was never why people complained. They did. The question was why they kept showing up. The answer was not ideology. It was structure. And every morning, the structure made the same sound. Click.